This 1901 concrete tower cools an entire building for $0 a month, forever. No electricity, no freon, no moving parts. Nikola Tesla drew this 124 years ago, and the AC industry buried it. Why aren't we using it? I've spent 30 years in mechanical engineering, tearing apart every cooling system imaginable. What I'm about to show you is the single most embarrassing secret in the entire HVAC industry today. A working blueprint, signed by Tesla himself, sitting in a university archive, gathering dust for 124 years. Why? Because if this thing goes mainstream, a $240 billion industry collapses overnight completely. Let me paint the picture we're all living. Summer arrives, you open your electric bill, it's doubled, maybe tripled. You're paying $400, $600, sometimes $800 monthly just to keep your house from cooking you. This isn't a local problem. This is happening in Phoenix, Madrid, Delhi, Athens, everywhere on the planet right now. Here's a number that should stop you cold. Air conditioning is about 10% of all electricity generated globally. 10% for one function, making air colder. And it's climbing every single year. By 2050, it doubles. What happens when everyone flips the switch simultaneously? The grid buckles. Texas learned that. California learns every August. Rolling blackouts, brownouts, transformers exploding on suburban poles. People dying of heat stroke inside their own bedrooms silently. Then there's the machine itself, your AC unit. It's a factory in a metal box packed with fragile parts. Compressor, condenser, evaporator coils, refrigerant lines, a capacitor that fails every 4 years, a blower motor that seizes. Freon leaks through microscopic pinholes, venting a greenhouse gas thousands of times worse than carbon dioxide into the sky. $3,000 for the unit.
600 installation, 200 yearly service, 1,200 a year to run it. In 12 to 15 years, you throw the whole thing in a landfill and start all over again. That's the deal HVAC gave you. You accepted because you didn't know another one was on the table. One forgotten inventor solved this problem before we even had it, and his name was Nikola Tesla. Now everyone knows Tesla for alternating current, for the coil, for the legendary war with Thomas Edison. But almost nobody knows what he was doing in the summer of 1901 at Colorado Springs. He wasn't just chasing wireless power, he was obsessed with moving raw energy through the atmosphere itself. That meant he had to understand air, how it moves, how it holds heat, how it releases that heat. In his private notebooks from that summer, there are pages of sketches, not lightning towers, cooling towers. A tall, hollow concrete structure, open at the top, vented at the bottom, inside a fine mist of water.
And a promise written in the margin in his own handwriting. Cold air, without a single moving part. He filed a patent adjacent to this idea. He described the principle in letters to J.P. Morgan himself. He believed this device could air condition entire cities. Then Wardenclyffe collapsed. Morgan pulled funding. The lab was seized. Tesla's papers scattered. Some went to the Smithsonian, some to Belgrade, and this particular blueprint ended up buried, hidden in unrelated documents at a small engineering school in the American Midwest, rediscovered by an unsuspecting archivist recently. And here's the part that stings. The physics behind this forgotten cooling tower is embarrassingly, almost insultingly simple. Think about the hottest day you can remember. Now, imagine stepping into a cool, dark cave in summer. That cold hitting your skin the moment you cross the threshold, that is what Tesla's tower delivers, on demand, all summer long, using nothing but water and gravity. No compressors, no freon, no monthly electric bill. Here's the mechanism. Hot air, as you know, rises. But hot air meeting fine water mist behaves differently. The water evaporates instantly. Evaporation absorbs enormous amounts of heat. Scientists call it latent heat of vaporization. The practical translation: one single gallon of water turning to vapor absorbs almost 8,000 BTUs from surrounding air. That is more cooling power than a small window air conditioning unit produces in an entire hour, from 1 gallon. So Tesla built a tall hollow tower. Hot summer air enters through wide openings carved at the top. Water is misted into that hot air at the crown of the tower. The mist evaporates almost instantly. The air cools sharply. And here's the beautiful part. Cold air is significantly denser and heavier than hot air. So this newly cooled air doesn't just sit there. It falls. Hard. It cascades down the tower's inner shaft. Gaining speed under its own weight, it pours from vents at the bottom straight into your cool living space. It's the chimney effect run in reverse, a downdraft chimney. No fan, no compressor, no electricity. Just gravity. Gravity doing what gravity has done for 4.5 billion years. And Tesla wasn't first here.
The Persians built structures called yakhchals over 2,000 years ago, giant clay cones in the raw desert. Somehow these cones kept ice frozen right through the summer, using the exact same downdraft cooling principle. Ancient Egyptian palaces used wind catchers pulling scorching desert air across long beds of soaked green reeds. The rich actually lived at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, right in the burning middle of the Sahara Desert. For thousands of years, humans knew how to cool a room without burning anything. We just forgot. Tesla didn't forget. He engineered it precisely. He added the mist system and calculated the tower height carefully. He specified the exact concrete thickness for thermal mass, turning ancient folk technology into a precision instrument. Zero moving parts, zero consumables except a small trickle of water. And the whole thing actually worked. But here's what the HVAC lobby prayed you would never sit down and calculate for yourself tonight.
That modern AC unit sitting on the side of your house is 19th century technology in a plastic shell. That entire vapor compression cycle was actually patented all the way back in 1856. Think about that. Willis Carrier's famous 1902 design, credited by every textbook as the birth of modern AC, it came a full year after Tesla was already sketching his passive cooling towers up in Colorado Springs. A full year. Tesla was there first, but his brilliant passive design had one fatal commercial flaw. It had nothing to sell you. Think about it. A passive tower has no refrigerant at all, so no chemical company enjoys a recurring revenue stream from you. It also has no compressor whatsoever, and no manufacturer gets to sell you a costly replacement unit every single 12 years like clockwork. It uses almost no electricity, so no utility gets to bill you a peak demand surcharge in August. It doesn't break, it doesn't leak, and it doesn't need any licensed technician to service it yearly. For an entire cooling industry, Tesla's tower is a nightmare. For a homeowner, it's an absolute miracle. That is exactly why it was buried. Not because it didn't work, because it worked too well. It worked too well, for too little money, for too many decades to keep the industry rich. Forget everything you were told about air conditioning efficiency. Let me give you the real numbers now.
And I warn you, these numbers are going to absolutely make your jaw drop onto the floor. Engineers measure every cooling system using something they call the coefficient of performance, simply known as COP. It's a ratio, how much cooling energy you get out for every unit of electrical energy in. A brand new Energy Star certified central air conditioner has a COP of about 3.5. Some premium units hit 4. That means for every watt you put in, you get 4 watts of cooling. Not bad, right? Sounds pretty efficient. Now hold that number carefully in your mind for one moment. Tesla's tower, based on modern reconstructions using his own original patent dimensions, hits a COP of 20. 20. That is not a small improvement. That is not 50% better than anything you own. That is 5 to 6 times more efficient than the very best cooling machine on the market today.
And that's because it uses gravity and evaporation, both of which happen to be completely and permanently free. Real-world temperature drop measured with a thermal camera at the outlet vent of a properly built tower between 15 and 25 degrees Fahrenheit below ambient. On a 95-degree day, you're pulling 70-degree air out. All day, all night, as long as there's water in the reservoir. Speaking of water, that's the only input. In most climates, you're using between 2 and 5 gallons per hour to cool a normal-sized home. At municipal water rates, that's pennies per day. Pennies. Compare that to your $200 August electric bill. Lifespan? Concrete and copper mesh don't wear out. There is no compressor to burn out. No bearings, no belts. The one moving part is a tiny pump for the mister. Costs $15 and lasts a decade. Real downdraft towers in Arizona have run 50 years without a single major repair. 50 full years. Your air conditioner? Guaranteed dead in 15. Payback on the smaller version? Under 2 summers to full recovery. After that, it's free cooling for life. Now, watch someone actually build one of these in a backyard.
You don't need Tesla's engineering degree. You don't need permits because there's no combustion, no refrigerant, no electrical load. You need a Saturday and about $180. Here's the entire parts list. Write this down. 1 food-grade plastic barrel, 55 gallons, $25 used. 1 8-inch PVC pipe, 6 feet tall, $40. A roll of aluminum window screen, $10. 1 small submersible pond pump, another $20 total. Misting nozzle kit from any garden center, $15. Bag of pea gravel for thermal mass, $8. Cheap plywood for the base, plus a solar panel to run completely off-grid, another $60 total. You cut vents in the top of your PVC column. You install the misters at the crown, angled downward. Wrap the interior with aluminum screen for more evaporation surface. Place a water barrel at the base as reservoir. Run pump line up the outside to feed misters.
Duct cold outlet into your window or floor vent. That's it. That's the whole build. A weekend project. Any homeowner with a drill and hacksaw can do it. A fellow engineer, retired in New Mexico, built one just like this 2 summers ago. Thermal camera at outlet, 71 degrees when outside air was 93. 22-degree drop. From a barrel and a piece of pipe. He runs the pump off a single 100-watt solar panel that cost $90 on a marketplace listing. His monthly cooling cost, all in, is $0. And this design scales. Make it taller and wider. It cools a warehouse. Shrink it and it cools a tiny home. Villages in India use 20-foot versions now. They cool schools that never had electricity. Full classrooms at 72 degrees when outside is 110. No grid, no utility, no monthly bill. Ever. Do the math on your own house, and I promise you, the AC industry starts to look like a scam. Let me lay it out for the average American home.
The average home spends about $1,800 per year on cooling. Some homes in Texas push $3,000. That includes electricity, annual service, freon top-ups, and the amortized cost of replacing the unit every 15 years. The Tesla tower you just watched, total annual cost, water and a $15 pump replacement, under $40. Do the subtraction. $1,760 saved every single year for every year the tower keeps running. Over 10 years, $17,000. Over 20, $34,000. Over 50 years, $88,000 saved. $88,000 staying in your pocket instead of going to a utility company every single month. The tower pays for itself in 1 summer, sometimes less. After that, every drop of cooling is free. Free cooling for decades. That is not a slogan, that is arithmetic. And this isn't theoretical at all.
Farms in Australia use similar downdraft towers to cool livestock barns. A commercial version was installed in Seville. that Seville Expo Tower dropped ambient temperature by 12 degrees Celsius across an entire outdoor pavilion. Real numbers. Universities published peer-reviewed papers confirming Tesla's original figures. The technology works. The math is public. Plans are downloadable. So why is nobody selling these at Home Depot? Follow the money. Follow the money and everything becomes clear. The global HVAC market is worth $240 billion a year. $240 billion every year. Carrier, Trane, Daikin, Mitsubishi, every ductwork contractor, refrigerant supplier, replacement filter subscription. Their entire industry depends on one thing, that your cooling system breaks regularly and needs to be fed refrigerant and replacement parts constantly, forever. Tesla's tower doesn't break down and it doesn't need to be fed. So there is no business model, no patent to defend, no proprietary refrigerant to sell, no compressor to mark up 800%. If you can't patent it, you can't build a company. If nobody builds it, nobody advertises it either. So 99% of homeowners never even hear the words downdraft evaporative tower in their entire lives. Then there are the utilities. Air conditioning is their biggest summer revenue engine, by far the largest. Peak demand pricing, time of use surcharges, grid capacity investments, every single one they get to bill you for. If half your block switched to passive towers tomorrow, the utility loses megawatts of billable load overnight. Their entire summer earnings report evaporates completely, just like the water in the tower does at noon. And finally, we have the building codes. Every modern code assumes a compressor-based cooling system on your wall. Duct sizing, electrical loads, structural loads, insurance requirements, all of it assumes the box outside your house. Try to permit a 12-foot concrete tower and watch a zoning inspector's face turn dark purple. It's not that the technology is somehow illegal. It's simply that the system has no category for it. And things that have no category simply get quietly denied. That is the moat around Tesla's tower. Not physics, not cost, not effectiveness. Just bureaucracy and vested interest keeping this whole system buried today. The exact same forces that buried Tesla in 1901 are still burying him right now. One more thing before you go, because this changes everything. Tesla did not stop at desert cooling towers. In the same Colorado Springs notebooks, next to these tower sketches, sit drawings of a companion device. A tower designed to pull water directly out of thin desert air. Free water from atmospheric humidity. Same passive downdraft principle, only reversed. Condensation instead of evaporation. Powered by nothing but temperature difference alone. Tesla calculated a single unit could produce 200 gallons of pure drinkable water per day in desert. If cooling is a $240 billion industry, water is a $1 trillion one globally. And Tesla had that blueprint too. Same notebook, same year, same silence. That will be the next video. If you found this valuable, subscribe. We are going deep into every low-tech solution the industry buried. Share this with anyone building a home, paying too much for electricity, or tired of depending on utilities. Stay tuned. Tesla's atmospheric water tower is next.